Hey everybody, happy Friday. I'm Pumphrey with the Douglas County Chamber, and I want to welcome our guests for today. We have Rob Elliott and we also have Chris Pumphrey from the Economic Development Authority. So hey guys, how are y'all?
Doing great. Good morning.
Glad it's Friday. So today we're going to talk about an exciting program or initiative that we have going on in our community, and that is the Elevate Douglas. It's such a long name, but it is what it is at this point. So it's the Elevate Douglas COVID-19 Business Relief Grant. So we're going to hear a little bit about the details of the program and how it got started, and then some of the great partnerships that have kind of flourished out of that. So I guess we can start with Chris. And do you mind just telling everybody just kind of how we got, who's involved and how this initiative started?
Sure. So, well, thank you for having me on. And as many of you know, Elevate Douglas is a collaborative partnership, all centered around economic development in the health and wealth of our business community here in Douglas County. And so we wanted to extend that partnership to ensure that we're supporting our small businesses that have been drastically affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And so we're putting together this grant program in partnership with Google, in partnership with Switch, the Economic Development Authority, the Chamber, kind of coming together to provide funding resources for our small businesses. We've broken down the grant program in amounts that go up to $10,000. So we're able to serve sole proprietors, those with, we've broken it down into tiers. So the tiers are for sole proprietors. The grants are up to $2,000. For those with employees of 2 to 5, it's up to $5,000. 6 to 10 employees is $7,500, and then 11 to 25 is $10,000. We know that there's a number of programs out there with the PPP and that are available for businesses, but we wanted to make sure that we were putting our resources to ensure that only Douglas County businesses would be able to benefit. I think as the last report came out, there were roughly 50 or so businesses in Douglas County that received PPP. And so there's over 7,000 businesses in Douglas, which means there's still a number of businesses that still need support. And so we wanted to make sure that we could do our best to provide that support to those businesses.
Perfect. You bring up a great point too, in that there are a lot of businesses, and I just know this from my role at the chamber, that during the pandemic, I mean, when we were in shelter in place, I guess I should say, we're still in the pandemic. But during that time, there were so many businesses that were, they didn't know what to do, how to do it, where to go, what resources they would need. And then when it came back to the whole reopening phase, it was not just a quick, let's open our doors and get back to business, but there were so many things, and I would say unanticipated costs that are associated with opening your doors back and making sure that you're doing it in a safe way, right? So do you mind talking a little bit about maybe what they can use the grant for? Because you can't just use it, for whatever you want. So do you mind telling them a little bit about what they can use it for?
Yeah, definitely. To your point, for businesses to operate now, we even take our own organization. You've got all of the hand sanitizer, the masks, all of the protective things that you have to get, to operate your business. So we know that a lot of those companies, we're seeing a decrease in business, but then two, we're having added costs as it relates to how they do business. And so what we wanted to do is kind of provide something that helped cover that gap that existed. So, you might have, because of a lack of being able to open your doors and revenue coming in, might not have been able to cover rent or be able to cover utilities, or may having to purchase additional PPE, personal protective equipment and what have you. It's those uses that are become eligible. These aren't necessarily going to be kind of payroll type grant funds, but really kind of targeting those expenses that you incurred that you were struggled with as a result of COVID-19. And we were able to create a website, DouglasCountySmallBusiness.com, that outlines all of those eligible uses. It also outlines all the eligibility requirements in order to qualify for the grant program and all the documentation. But you can see all of that there. We want to make it very clear what is eligible, an eligible use for you on that website.
Perfect. Okay, Rob, let's talk about you a little bit. So before we get into kind of your role in this partnership, do you mind, I mean, Switch is, you've been here for a few years as far as building out, but do you mind just giving everybody kind of an overview of the organization, who you guys are, what you do, where you're located, just kind of tell us about Switch first.
Sure. So Switch is actually a technology infrastructure corporation. So we build, design, and maintain and operate the world's largest and most efficient data centers. So if you think about the infrastructure that supports the technology backbone of almost every single company in this country and across the world, that's what we do at Switch. We provide that unprecedented support for businesses. And really, we not only provide that to like the Fortune 100 companies, but we have many of our customers who are running their most mission critical data and the data that supports their businesses that are small businesses as well running in Switch. So we originally were founded in Las Vegas. And since then, we've had dramatic growth. As you can imagine, the internet of everything and data has exploded over the years. We've expanded dramatically in Las Vegas as well as to Michigan. And then I got the opportunity to come to Atlanta a few years ago as we announced what we're building here at the Keep campus in Douglas County, which is that's full build out. It's going to be the largest data center campus in the Southeast. And one of the great blessings, quite frankly, is that through this pandemic, Switch has been able to continue to keep people on the job, building the data center, finishing out the interiors of the data center. We're also prepping all of our land for the next phases of development. So that's meant hundreds of construction jobs. Companies are moving their data gear into our data centers, which means employment for those folks as well. So that's just been a real great opportunity for us.
Perfect. Well, and I think you bring up a great point is, and I was talking to somebody just about this the other day, there are so many businesses that were halted during the pandemic, but then there were also those on the opposite end of the spectrum that were so busy and that continued to thrive through that. So it's great that you guys were able to continue to be able to support some of those businesses. So, and and it's great. And you're in your snazzy little conference room. So we're excited. I know it's kind of crazy because we were, I know we had talked about the grand opening and stuff earlier this spring. So we're still just dying to get in there and come and visit. So hopefully one day soon, right?
Hopefully what you might hear occasionally during this broadcast is there's still a lot of folks working in here and putting the finishing touches on buttoning up the data center. And we had, like I said, we have folks moving their gear in here. So any thumps or bumps, that's what that's about. And I think that's good news. That means that people are still working. But we're glad to be out here at the campus and look forward to having those sneak peek previews of what we're building out here. I think if you've seen it from the outside, it's pretty impressive. Because we really are a fortress of security for folks' data and for the business and technology operations of companies. So we're looking forward, like you said, we got a little interrupted, but looking forward to welcoming all the leaders in the community to see what's going on out here.
Perfect. So talk to us a little bit about, obviously we've communicated out that this is a partnership, it's a partnership between many organizations to support our small businesses. Do you mind talking a little bit about why Switch has decided to partner and kind of your philosophy around small businesses and just share with everybody a little bit about why you guys are in and contributing towards the fund?
Sure. So when our founder and CEO, Rob Roy, started the company, it wasn't by chance that he selected the Karma Wheel as our corporate logo, because one of the fundamental philosophies of our company is if you put good energy out into the world, you're going to get good energy back. So do the right thing. Always do the right thing. It is what really guides all of our decisions at Switch. So anytime that we start business in a community, we try to look around and figure out what's the best ways for us to make an impact. And One of the unfortunate things is that COVID presented a lot of ways to make an impact, and we were very happy to be able to support the frontline workers program that y'all put together. Because when you think about folks who are so busy working, dealing with the health care crisis associated with the pandemic, they couldn't even make a meal. So I really commend the chamber and Chris's group for all the work that they did to provide that relief. And we're really focused on economic development and how do you ensure that a community that we're operating in continues to have growth and has strong economic development. And if you think about it, small businesses really are just like we're a technology backbone for so many companies. Small businesses really are the backbone of an economy in any community. So if they're thriving and doing well, that's a real strong indicator for how an economy is going to do and how the community is doing as a whole. So when this program came up, it just made a lot of sense to us that through no fault of their own, so many small businesses have been dramatically impacted. I can tell you that we provide lunches for our employees who are working out here at the Switch campus, and it's some of the favorite places they go to. They've been impacted by this, and and we want to continue to find ways to help support this community because if we all do well, then the economy is going to get back on track. And I think the opportunity too is that, to your point, it gives businesses and small business an opportunity not to keep people on the job, but what are some of the things they need support with that COVID has brought along with it? It's how do what are the different elements they need to install in their businesses? Plus, hopefully, it provides an opportunity for some innovation or some advances that they've been trying to do in their businesses and just haven't been able to. So we're happy to be a part of the effort that really helps build and strengthen the economy of Douglas County and supports the small business so they can not only just survive through this, but thrive well into the future.
Perfect. Well, and it's the old phrase, rising tide lifts all boats, right? So I think it's just I think that it's a great partnership that you guys have, being a larger company, a large organization. And a lot of time, not a lot of times, that's the wrong words, but when people think about economic development, they automatically just go straight to the large employers of our community. And that is a very significant part of that. Chris can speak to that, but it's also a blend of supporting those small businesses. And I forget what the statistic is, and you guys might know, but there's some crazy number that the number of small businesses outweighs large employers by there's so many more small businesses than there are large employers. So I just know that, it's very much appreciated. I think it speaks so highly of your organization and the leadership, and in that you guys are completely open and available to supporting small businesses. Because this was not something that was asked of you. This was something that you guys openly offered, and I know, at least on behalf of myself and the chamber, I know we're very grateful for that. So.
And honestly, we're humbled to be able to help, and we wish every single business owner in this community success and really hope that this provides much needed assistance so they can make it through this very difficult time and continue to build and grow in the future.
Perfect. Great. All right. Chris, did you have anything to add on that?
No, just that we're extremely grateful for the partnership, and everything you all said was absolutely correct. Large businesses depend on small businesses, and small businesses depend on large businesses. So, if one half is failing, then we're both failing. And so we definitely need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to uplift the entire.
I'm feeling the love this morning, y'all. Just saying. All right, Chris, I'm going to ask you another question. We talked kind of about the criteria for applying and how you can get information on if you're eligible or not, and what counts. Talk to everyone a little bit about the actual application and grant selection process and how that's going to work.
Sure. So the applications opened up this past Monday, and the application will be open until September the 11th. I believe it's at 5 o'clock. It's kind of when it closes down. You'll want to ensure that you have met all the requirements, that you have provided all of the information, and once we're reviewing that information, we do have a committee that is set up that will be reviewing the applications, the completed applications. that they'll be reviewing those applications. We do have, we try to be as thorough as possible on how to apply and trying to capture frequently asked questions. But if you do have questions, there is a contact page on there, and we'll try and be responsive via that format. But once we kind of get through, once everything is closed out and all the completed applications are presented, and we will go through ensuring that eligibility has been met, that you have demonstrated everything that has been asked in the application. And then we kind of put everything, kind of all the completed applications that meet the requirements kind of into a bucket. And it is not a literal bucket, but a figurative bucket. It's all digital. And that every application is assigned a number. And then from those numbers, it's basically a lottery. And so it's set up that way so that everyone doesn't rush to get their application done. We want quality applications to be in there. We want as many qualified applications as possible. And then it will be kind of a digitized lottery of selection of awards that are based of awards from those qualified applications. So that committee, like I said, will go through all those, ensure that everything that goes into that lottery meets all the requirements and is eligible. We don't want to be the ones that are choosing winners and losers. We want to make sure that it's fairness throughout the entire process.
Perfect. Yeah. And I know just internally, like that was a big conversation that we had as far as making sure that everybody had a fair chance. And I will say that, within our partnership, we've tried to make every effort that we can to reach every business in Douglas County. So we sent out lovely little postcards that had information on them, and then there's also some other good resources that are on the website. There's a sample application, so you can kind of see what it looks like before you actually go in. And then there's also a webinar that you can view that walks you through the application process, as well as even one that's a visual guide with the screen captures. So I feel like hopefully anybody that has a question or concern or wants to know what to expect, you can find that information on the website. So. Great. Well, do you guys have, that was pretty quick and pretty thorough. I feel like you guys have done a great job. Do you guys have any kind of last comments or anything else that you'd like to share with the group or with our audience?
Just on behalf of Switch, I want to thank you guys for all the work you've done, and Elevate Douglas for bringing this together. I tell you what, such a tremendous sense of community here, and we've been so welcome since we got here. So we couldn't be more pleased. And just, the public-private partnership, and working with Google, which is right across the street from our data center here, we really hope that we can make a difference and help these small businesses, and encourage all those who might be needing some assistance to review that application process and get it in as quickly as you can, so that there's an opportunity for you to get one of those grants and move your business forward.
Great, thanks. Anything? Chris?
Yeah, and just that, more to come, from Elevate Douglas. We're working very diligently to ensure that we're putting together programs and resources for small businesses, coming in the future. So, this grant program is just one thing that we are doing, but we will be rolling out even, more programs coming into the new year to ensure that we're serving the entire ecosystem of small business and entrepreneurs here in Douglas County. So even if a business does not get selected, we want to make sure that we remain connected to you and are providing resources for you.
Perfect. And you do bring up a great point. We do have our big community and economic development strategic plan, which has a whole area that's focused on building business success. And that's everyone from our large employers and our friends, downriver, I would say down Riverside, like Switch and Google, but then also making sure that we have the support system in place to help not only grow and cultivate small businesses, but then help them sustain as well. So I think that you brought up a great point. So again, we're excited, more to come from Elevate Douglas. This is kind of, I would say, our initial big initiative, whatever. So anyway, just want to thank you guys for your time today. Again, if anybody has any questions or wants more information about the Elevate Douglas Business Relief Grant, you can visit douglascountysmallbusiness.com. And again, just to kind of wrap it up, applications are open now through September 11th at 5. You were right about that part. So if you have any questions, make sure and go through the contact information on the website and get your application in so that we can help support your business. So thank you guys for joining us on a Friday. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and everybody stay safe. Thanks.